Spiders are one of the big five subjects in macro photography, and as a macro wildlife photographer, spiders are one of my favorite subjects to photograph. I'm very picky when it comes to how I photograph spiders and the kind of spiders I photograph. I like photographing spiders that are with prey, spiders that are with sac, or spiders that are with babies. And on very few occasions, I photograph spiders that don't have any of these things if they're very big or beautiful or just unique. In this video, I'm going to share with you how I find and photograph spiders with prey, including field techniques and just how I do it and the post-processing part of it as well. I'm David Joseph at ABCD David, macro wildlife photographer based in Nigeria, and that's it for this intro. My first tip for finding spiders, especially ones with prey, which this video is about, is going out at night. Now, it's very possible to find them by daytime, but it's less likely that you'll find them by daytime. So I encourage you to pick up your boots and your headlamps and go out to find spiders at night, because it's during this time that you are going to find epic spiders. I encourage you to step out around 8:30 p.m. to like 10:30 p.m. or even 11 p.m. You are going to find them. That's kind of like the best window of opportunity to find spiders with prey, because by then they've already been around out for a long time and they've caught one or two. So yeah, that's a very good time to find spiders with prey. Shoot at night around 8:30 p.m. to like 11 p.m. You're going to find them, even 12 p.m. But just from 8:30 p.m. that is when your chances are going to really increase. The next thing that's going to help you find and photograph spiders with prey is using a headlamp. If you use a headlamp, because spiders have reflective eyes when the headlamp spots it, it's going to be easy for you to know that, oh, there's a spider there, there's a spider here. And one easy way to be able to differentiate the spider from other animals that could have reflective eyes is that spiders have multiple eyes. So you definitely find multiple of their eyes reflecting. That's how you can know that, oh, it's a spider. Funny enough, even the little spiders have reflective eyes. So if you ever go forward and then it's not a very big spider, don't be disappointed. It happens. It's all part of the game. So that's it. Use a headlamp. It's going to really help you find the spiders at night. And another thing I can add to that is that you have to understand their habitat, because if you just wander around the bush, you may not find the kind of spiders you want. You have to understand where the spiders usually are at. And I seem to observe they like a place that is quiet but then has a couple of bugs around so they can feast on it. I've usually found spiders where they're like sands, like ones that they can dig and kind of like build a little house. Places that there are gravels and even bushes like this. They can literally be anywhere, but then they kind of have a preference, and it's just up to you to find out where in your area. When you found a spider with prey, you have to approach slowly, because if you approach too hastily, you may scare the spider away. And one thing I love about spiders is that they're not going to drop their prey and run away without it. If they ever drop their prey, they're just going to stay around there, and should they move back a little bit and then observe that you've gone away, they'll go back, take their prey, and still continue, with the whole eating job. So that's one thing I love about spiders. So approach slowly so the spider does not drop the prey. And after approaching the spider, you're going to observe something about how spiders eat. And I think this is a whole tip on its own. Spiders eat in a way that is pause and play. I like to call it that way, or let's just say put it that way. They're going to have a time, like a couple of seconds, where they chew, and after like 3 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, depending on the spider and just the prey, they are going to pause. Like a complete pause. And it's like they're resting during this time. And after another 3 to 5 seconds, they're going to resume chewing. So it's during this pause period that is when you should fire the bracket, because during this time there is little or no shake from the spider and no shake from the subject as well. So this time, if you take the bracket, you have a very high chance of getting the shot you want. But if you try to get the shot while the spider is chewing, you just won't get the shot. So it's important to approach slowly and observe the spider and shoot during the pause period of the pause and play period. I think you just get that. While photographing spiders with prey, angle is very important. It's all about how you portray the spider and how you portray the prey. And even though you are not in the shot, the angle you use in photographing spiders with prey, well, it kind of like puts you in the shot. and maybe not like you, but like the viewer. So why I'm saying this is because I've photographed spiders with prey several times, and the most epic ones are the ones that I'm getting it from like an eye level or maybe a little bit lower, looking up to the spider. But if you're trying to get it from like a high perspective down, high angle down, it kind of makes the spider look not like a monster. And I'm not saying spiders are monsters, but while photographing spiders with prey, there's kind of like, this epicness, this rulership that the spider has over the prey that you're trying to portray, this power over the prey, that victory, That's why I call them conquerors. And if you're photographing them from a top down perspective, it makes them look less of a conqueror. So you have to photograph them from an angle that makes them look like a conqueror. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that word right, so I'm not going to pronounce it again. There are squirrels on this tree and they're disturbing me or distracting me. So yeah, you have to pick an angle that you are eye to eye with them or a little bit lower. This way, it's going to make them look just epic. And another way to make it epic is to increase the magnification. If you're photographing them from much distance, the spider is really not going to feel the frame. So you have to get your magnification. You don't have to use 1:1 all the time because it's spider with prey, not just spider. So you have to keep room for the prey, for a little bit of cropping if you have to, and maybe foreground elements, just something that can make it nice. So it doesn't have to be 1:1, it doesn't even have to be 2:1 or beyond. Just find a magnification level that makes the spider feel the frame enough while keeping a little bit of space, because you are going to stack the shot and that is going to crop just a tiny little bit. So you have to take note of this. The angle and the magnification is something that will help portray the spider as a conqueror. And these are things that I take into consideration whenever I'm photographing spiders with prey. And if you're wondering, can you get a spider with prey shot with just a single shot? Yes, you can. But to be honest, spiders with prey are one of the few kind of shots I take as a bracket for a focus stack. And the reason is simple. You see, you want to get the eyes of the spider, you want to get the subject, you want to get the entire action in there, you want it to be sharp. If you are taking a single shot, depending on the scene, it's not going to really come out well a lot of times. It's not like you won't get the eyes of the spider in, but you're compromising sharpness and detail on the subject. And if it's from a front first perspective, it's going to be more difficult to maintain focus on the subject and the spider in one picture. So this is why I always try as much as possible, even when the scene could seem impossible, to go for a bracket picture of a spider with prey anytime. However, there are exceptions to this, to be honest, and that is maybe if it's from a kind of angle or perspective that you won't be able to get a bracket and you still really just want to document that shot, or maybe it's a small spider and the prey is kind of small as well, and you know that you'll be able to get the eye of the spider as well as other details of the prey in focus. And it could also be if it's from a clear top down perspective where the whole prey kind of like covers the face of the spider and you just like really want to showcase that, yeah, this is what is going on. And of course there are scenes that are unstackable as well, and I'm not talking about the spider just chewing all through non-stop. No, I'm talking about maybe it has like a subject like a gecko. I've actually never photographed the spider eating a wall gecko, but my good friend Bridget Goa has, and that scene, believe me, is unstackable. So I like how she went for a single shot there, and yeah, scenes like that, yes, a single shot can do it. One extra tip if you are trying to photograph spiders with prey, and I believe a lot of us are familiar with this, is that you should wear longs. Now, the reason I'm saying you should wear longs is because you are probably going to get on the ground, and it could be maybe rough, it could be muddy, it could be just anything, and you don't want to expose your actual body to the ground because it could cause irritation or just anything like that. So it's best to wear longs on the top, and yeah, for the trousers, all of it. So that's one final tip, because I mean, comfort is something that will enable you get the kind of pictures you want. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I think it's very short and I'm really good with the one text now, so my videos just straight to the point. But I'm not going to talk and add to the duration of this video. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm David Joseph at ABCD David, macro wildlife photographer based in Nigeria. And if you want to support the channel so I keep making videos like this, my Buy Me a Coffee link is in the description, and you can always donate a coffee. Thank you so much for that. And I'll see you next time. Bye.